Yo, what's up, guys? Just gonna make another video here. It's been like 2 weeks, right? Whoo, pathetic. And I was looking at the little camera rolls over there on YouTube, and I realized that I've not done a video other than live streaming in like 10, 12 days, which is insane. It's so hard for me to make content right now. I don't know what's going on. It's just hard. I'm starting school right now. Got a lot of stress going on in my life. I'm a sinner. I'm lazy. All kinds of things. I'm an artist. At least that's my cope or whatever. And I'm trying to figure out, why am I so uninspired, or like what should the next video be about? What's the content that's gonna let God speak through me, which is important. And I don't mean to make fun of Elliot Hulse too much there. I love Elliot Hulse, and I had a good meeting with him, and I do believe in letting God speak through you and find your vocation. But I'm trying too hard, man. I'm trying too hard up here. I'm not letting go. There's something I'm not letting go of. There's something I just want to say the best thing, or like impress the right person, or I don't know what it is. And because I'm so uninspired, I figured what could be more inspiring than the Word of God. So what we're going to do is we're going to just start in the beginning of the Bible. And I don't want to make a bunch of declarations about what this is going to be or whether we'll get through the whole thing. We certainly won't all in one sitting. But what's better and more inspiring than inspired text? What could be more compelling or meaningful than just letting the Word of God speak for itself? Maybe provide some commentary too. But I don't know if you guys remember Green Pastures, where I would play a song in between each chapter. Sometimes I would even do it live on my guitar, but I would be DJing songs in between chapters. I love doing that. So we're just going to read the Bible here. I'll interrupt myself a couple times and see how far we get. So we're in the ESV here. If you got your Bibles, open up to Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. It's funny, I was listening to Michael Heiser, and he has a talk. I think it's just called Tohu Wabohu. Okay, so Tohu Wabohu is the Hebrew phrase for without form and void. And I think that more debates or texts, I think that is the most written about phrase from the entire Bible. What does without form and void mean? I don't know if that's true or that's just something I heard from Michael Heiser's talks, but it does. It is interesting. What is nothingness? What is it? What is it for there to be nothing other than God present? Pretty intense, right? But I don't know. I mean, this is am I the first person in history that does his own improvised commentary over the entire Bible? Like, if we were to do, because I could riff just on Genesis 1 through 5 for the next hour and a half. And do I just close it down? Just like John MacArthur. It's like not that I'm John MacArthur, but it's like he preached through the entire Bible or something like that. He has some claim to fame where he has commentaries on the entire Bible other than a couple chapters. Maybe Martin Luther did something like that too. I'm sure John Calvin has some claim to fame where he preached through or has commentaries on the entire Bible. It's like the racist live streamer that has extemporaneous improvised commentary, shithead commentary over the entire Bible over a 5-year period. It's a feat. It's like the internet greatest feats up. Like, it's like the Chris Chan documentary. Anyway, we're doing the Bible. Okay. Tohu Wabohu, without form and void. I'm not a Bible scholar, dude. Any commentary has been done so much better by smarter people in a more organized fashion that I'll save you guys that stuff. But I mean, Michael Heiser, he's the guy that I definitely have listened to more than almost anyone regarding early Genesis history, Hebrew text. I know there's a big controversy going on in the right wing right now. In the Christian right about the Septuagint versus Masoretic texts. I have my opinions on it. I'm reading from the Masoretic right now. That's been the vast majority of Bibles I've ever, read in my life. But anyway, right now I'm going to continue to say Hebrew. Picking it up in Genesis 1:6. And God said, let there be an expanse. Did I read this? No. In the morning, the first day. Yeah. And God said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven, and there was evening and there was morning, the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its own kind on the earth. I really want to get a Bible that has the citations organized somewhere else or something like that. Maybe I should just convert over to a tablet or something like that. But I got this ESV. I love my ESV. It's getting worn out, but it's got these citations everywhere, and I confuse it with punctuation. Usually I'm way better at reading out loud, but I'm like, okay, where's the period? Okay. And God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas, and God saw that it was good. And I already read all this, dang it. And God said, let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind on the earth. And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to, an interesting thing about this that there's also, commentaries on, or people have discussed this, is what was the age of things when they were created? We're not in the Bible yet right now, where Adam has been created yet. But it doesn't seem to me that Adam was created as an infant. It seemed like he was a fully grown man when he was created. And I just noticed something that I do want to talk about. So it says, God said, let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind on the earth. And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation. So the created state of the earth did not have vegetation, you see. Like, there's some elements that God spoke forth and they were in their mature state. But there are some things, one of them being vegetation at this point in the Bible, that were not spoken forth in its mature state. Interesting point if you take it as an analogy as well, or a metaphor. Not that this is a metaphor or an analogy. Some people believe it is. I don't. I take it literally. But God speaks things forth. God creates things, but they have the potential to be created in their mature enough state. Not their dead state, of course. I mean, Adam wasn't created as a dead man. He was created as a man, though. But this seed was created not having bloomed yet. It was created with the potential for bringing forth vegetation, but it had not yet sprouted vegetation at time of creation. Didn't mean to rhyme that. But it's interesting. I just didn't pick up on that until now. So he created the expanse. So it seems to me he created the expanse. He created the lights. Are we to the lights yet? No, we are not. But some of the things he had created prior to the vegetation were in their fully formed state. Maybe not its decayed state yet, but let's say he's created the angels at this point. Were they mature yet? Is there maturation of angels? This might be getting into senseless babble. Things mentioned, I believe, in 2 Timothy that might be unprofitable. I don't know. I don't want to get I think it's a mistake to go too far down the beginning of things or the end of things, unless you can draw it back to behaving like a better Christian in your life, but it is interesting to just think about what's the name of that term in science? I don't know what it is. It's not even on the tip of my tongue, but where in the lifespan at time of creation things were, if you get what I'm saying. Okay. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its own kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and years. It's one of the most interesting passages of the Bible. Might also be senseless babble. Might be, you never know, young white man, if you're just wasting your time spinning your wheels, debating the moon landing all day. That sounds like it's funny. Just a fourth wall. There's another YouTuber, dear friend named Jonathan Corey, and it totally sounds like I'm subtweeting him right now, and I'm totally not. We're just on this passage, but he happens to be in the other room right now. He stayed here last night. I promise I'm not calling you out. I'm not subtweeting you live on air. We're just on this passage of the Bible. But I do think that, I dedicated much time in my life to debating various astrological conspiracies, things like that. I find it to be a waste of time, but it does talk about it in the Bible, though. Like, if it says it in the Bible, is it senseless sometimes to debate it? I think so. Unfortunately, not all truth, what Pilate asked Jesus in the right light is a valid question. What is truth? Are all truths equal? Are all truths equally beneficial? Say they are truths. Are they all equally beneficial to debate or discuss at any given time? Of course not. There's multiple truths to Jesus, by the way. That's another thing. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the light. Life. Read the Bible, maybe more, Stephen. But he is the truth, capital T truth. But are all truths about Jesus equally profitable to discuss at any given time? Steve Lawson had a great series, like he died. Dude, the scandal thing, we have to do a video on that at some point. We're supposedly doing the Bible right now. But it's like, dude sins and thus dies. Like, he's no longer with us. Strike every work of his must be stricken and thrown into the burning pile by the Hitler Youth themselves. Steve Lawson, Josh Buice, Martin Luther, Thomas Aquinas, any man that has fallen from grace must have the library stricken into the burning pile. It's just funny saying was in the context, but he's got this series called The Attributes of God. Steve Lawson does, and even he can't pack it all into one sermon. There's many true things about God. There's many true things about Jesus, and picking and sorting them and choosing when to be, when to talk about what, when to debate what, when to debate at all, if to debate at all. It's almost one of the definitions of maturing, at least for me. It's one of the things that I need to figure out as I get older. Economy of words, economy of time, about to die one day. It's important. It's important to learn how to be a sniper that way. So yeah, I think the debating the signs and wonders is not fruitful in this day and age. And God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be lights in the... It says they're lights, though. And when you... Yeah, when I was meeting with Elliot Hulse a couple weeks ago about content, he was one of the examples that Elliot Hulse gave as a model for like one who I might emulate is Jesse Lee Peterson. And one of the points that Elliot had about about Jesse Lee was he's like, that man just owns himself. That man can contradict himself every 2 seconds and it does nothing to hurt his brand. Not because his brand is self-contradiction, it's because his brand is him. You know, and this everyone's a liar. Everyone self-contradicts. Everyone makes mistakes. And he just presses on. But me, I'm like, okay, I think that young white guys like shouldn't be debating like all these astrological signs and like these like what is the moon landing? He's like, I think it could be more profitable. Like, are all things profitable? And I'm like, and then I keep reading. I'm like, but bro, it says it's a light. But seriously, when you drive outside, it looks like these lights are inside of this system. That's all I'm saying. Okay, all right. Sola Scriptura. Okay. And let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made the 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night and the stars. And God set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the 4th day. And God said, let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens. So God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening and there was morning, the 5th day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things and beasts of the earth according to their kinds. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. Now, just a quick pause there. It's very interesting how it does describe God creating all these things in his majesty, of course, primarily, and then in the majesty of those things, like everything. He created all these things, every creeping thing according to its kind, every bird according to its kind, everything according to its kind. And let man have dominion over all those things in their majesty, other than God. Man ranks the earth. I've come to believe that Gnosticism, that some form of soft Gnosticism or disabusal of the physical world, so-called disabusal, so-called removal of one's ideology and worldview and frame from the physical world, not the spiritual, from the physical world, has become the spiritual problem of our age. It's very counterintuitive. There's many talks on this that don't do this one justice. But I've come to believe that the primary spiritual problem of our age is losing touch with physical reality, logical and physical reality. But at the end of the day, that's a spiritual problem. I was talking with someone about this till late last night. And in a way, this is a spiritual problem. This is why our political and our physical problems in the end are spiritual. But that doesn't make the solutions any less physical. Man ranks the earth. Man ranks animals. Man ranks vegetation. And it's not to say that we're to be cruel. It's not to say that we're to be poor stewards. In fact, we're supposed to be amazing stewards because we are under God. We are ranked by God. Very, very important that to not miss this part of life. I don't know why I had it figured out, and I can tell you without a shred of humility or irony. I mean, I know it's an arrogant thing to say that this part of philosophy is one that I understand. I've come to understand over the last couple of years of the physical reality, social reality, is part of God's truth and God's reality. All real truth, all non-sinful truth is God's. So that means physical reality. That means race. That means gender. That means things not mentioned in the Bible. Even sin is under God's truth because God did create a world that allows sin. So even then, it's all under faith. It's all under God. It's all under spiritual. All of it. Government, things in the Bible, things not in the Bible. Everything is under faith. But having said that, the spirit, the solutions and it doesn't mean that one necessarily is going to go around literally proclaiming the name of Christ all the time. You can work heartily unto the Lord without even mentioning his name. It doesn't mean to not mention his name, but the solutions and the way we speak about things might not come from this literal, it's spiritual. It might come in other ways. We cannot neglect the physical realm. We cannot neglect non-believing flesh and blood people, just because they don't believe, or we live in this world. We live in this world. We are to have dominion over this world. That's what that passage is saying here. We are to have dominion over physical reality. And it doesn't mean we have to have dominant dominion over our fellow man. But I mean, not to, go too far forward in the Bible, but after the flood, when God institutes the death penalty, this I think it does mean that we are to have dominion and dominance over those that would harm innocent blood. We are to dominate them. Now, we're not post-sin in the Bible right now, but that's just me, my little screed on top of the skirt box, So I think Gnosticism, that Gnosticism and criticism have become the spirit of this age. Rather than realism and proclamation, rather than criticism, proclamation. And Lord knows that I struggle with the criticism part. I mean, I am the critic. It's awful. It's terrible. I want to be the inspiring man, the proclaimer, the honest questioner, the idea sponge, the idea channel, the idea conduit. Not the guy that looks at a situation and finds all its flaws and builds nothing. It's mega AIDS, man. In fact, that is kind of what AIDS is. I mean, back to the Bible. So it gives, God gives dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth to man. Genesis 1:27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. I'm not going to get into all this. In another one of my Bibles, I have my notes written out where I make a list of what happened in order, like when man was created, when mankind was created versus the first man. It's very interesting when you chronologically chart it all out, assuming that it's in chronological order. That's another part of the Bible that's very interesting. Anyway, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning the sixth day. It was very good, man. It was very, very good before sin. I think that it's translated literally as it was good, good. Like everything was good. You said it was good. Made this, said it was good. Made this, said it was good. And then when he got done, he said it was good, good. It was extremely good. And we were vegetarians, not to be all black Hebrew Israelite or whatever. Not to. They got their spice concoction. You ever see that where they try to sell you their flat belly, their flat belly concoction? Black people are cracking up at this right now because this is true. This is true about, and they're not wrong, by the way, because these people have been red pilled on like turmeric and ginger for decades, dude. For more longer than that, since the time of Egypt. But why was I talking about vegetarianism? Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't say we could eat animals at this point. It said that all animals can eat plants, including us. But it was very good, man. It was very, very good. And I'm sure many things with the angels and the stuff in heaven happened before this point. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not sure. If the Bible is silent on it, I'm sure I'll never really figure it out what the timeline of events were. I'm kind of obsessed with those things. Maybe I should stop. It talks in the Bible about not being so obsessed with these things. But we were created to have dominion over everything other than God. And we were, and it was very good. And we sinned. And pretty sure God knew we were gonna. And he built it into the plan, a redeemer. He built it into the plan that thousands of years down the road, he would become man and redeem us from our sins. And then, not to put myself on whatever level, but I am here right now. And then 2,000 years after that, he ordained that I'd be sitting here and that you'd be sitting here listening to this. And how can I neglect so great a salvation by not going to his word, first of all, by not sharing some of my gifts and some of my insight, and by being complacent and not involving him in my day-to-day life? If it's a mistake to be on camera, I pray that he showed me that. But since he did give me gifts, I want to edify you guys with his word and with his son Jesus Christ, his salvation, and whatever insight and gifts I can provide from that. So I love you guys, and I love the Bible. If you want to check out more of a news-based thing, Thursdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Time with the weekly notice. I still love the media and current events, but this day-to-day thing, it's just too important, and it's too, I do it every day. It's too important, it's too serious, and if it's going to be incoherent, and if people aren't going to sub, at the end of the day, we're not growing. Not that this drives my thought process, but at the end of the day, if it's going to be incoherent, if it's not going to grow, if I'm going to feel uninspired, let's at least go to something that is inspired, that is literally inspired by God, that is breathed out by God. Let's at least do it right. Let's at least do it that way. So welcome back. That was the first chapter of the Bible. I love you guys. I'm not going to promise anything, but it's like material shortage. Where's the shortage of material? And I'm not a preacher, but I can go off the cuff, and it's fun. It's wholesome. It's organized. It's God's word. I love you. See ya.